Yo, what's going on? All the great people in all of the great land. It's your guy, Nicholas Wilcox. It's your guy, Johnny Main. We out here ready to get busy. Let's get it. Let's rock and roll up. We got your DFS, your props, your bets, your starts and sits, and any other questions you got before we get started for week 3 of the fantasy football season. Johnny, what is happening, my guy?
Not a lot. Just ready to get into this week 3 slate, man. On the DFS side of the world, looks really it's a weird slate, kind of. Already, I think this is our first official weird slate that we got here. But I'm ready, man. Super excited for week 3. Super excited to get it going, man. Been waiting all week. So yeah, dude, I'm ready, bro.
Totally ready to rock and roll. Yeah, you're right. The slate is going to be a little weird. I'll be honest, though, the 4 o'clock games look a little bit more better than they normally do. So that's kind of good news. But yeah, like from a roster perspective for DFS purposes, like it's going to be like kind of like, a stars and scrubs type of thing where you're going to have to find a where, you're planting your flag on people, you just want to play regardless of the salary. But anyway, we have 31 people from Twitter /X coming on in. Please like the YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the channel as well. Tell all your friends, tell all your people, to tell them about your favorite homeboys in the fantasy football space. If you ain't doing so on Twitter as well, what are you doing? Follow us there as well. Johnny, we're going to go over the slate of games we got for week 3. So we're going to start with a doozy. We're going to start with, speaking of scrubbish, at the quarterback position, we got the Bengals, going into Minnesota. The over-under right now, 41.5. The Bengals are a 3-point underdog. Obviously, the news of Joe Burrow and the news of J.J. McCarthy on the other side of football. We're already down to second-string quarterbacks already. It's week 3 of the NFL season. Yeah. So there's a lot to kind of unpack in this one, but there's a good amount of targets in this matchup where for start-sits reasons and for also DFS side of things, we're going to like and love. So before we get to that, though, we have a question in the chat. Ice Cold OG Jones. That's a new one. Welcome to the show, my guy.
I like that name.
I definitely like that name. Ice Cold. So what kind of beard is he like?
Hell yeah.
So Russell Wilson, Mac Jones, or Browning. You want to take this, or I'll take this one?
I mean, I will. I'll take it. I'm fine.
I already know what you're gonna say.
Well, I mean,
I know you're not gonna say.
You know who I'm not gonna say. But for me, Mac Jones is a guy I'm getting a lot of this week. That's a guy I'm playing a lot of. Just specifically in the DFS side of things, I had to make a business decision with my roster today. It really came down between Cam Ward. It actually came down between Cam Ward and Mac Jones, and I just took Cam Ward because he's somebody that I've obviously been on since the beginning of the season. I think this is a really good spot for him. They're 0-2. They're at home. That's not the question, but Mac Jones, I like him. I like him. Yeah, it's not. I was already getting ready to go sideways. I like this one here just because I think the Cardinals maybe they should give some kind of a fight. And Mac Jones, I think we kind of talked about this last Sunday, man. Is Mac Jones the best backup quarterback in the NFL that's not a rookie? And I think he is, man. So I think in particular order for me, I'm looking at this as Mac Jones. I'm looking at Jake Browning, and then Russ Wilson would be the order that I would take these players, because Mac Jones, that offense again, still going to have checkdowns to Christian McCaffrey. He's still going to have Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings. The Carolina Panthers the Arizona Cardinals have played bad football early on in the year. They just almost let the Carolina Panthers back in a football game last week. So I feel like this is a really good spot for Mac Jones to come out and be solid. And he was pretty solid last week as well. I think he was in the top 6 or 7, maybe for QBs. So yeah, so give me Mac Jones.
This is where it gets a little trickier for me because I'm obviously starting Russ Wilson. I stand on that, and I mean it. I'm just going to start him in the match against Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, Kansas City desperate for a win. going into MetLife. But I would say, look, Russ Wilson obviously showed that he still has some type of ceiling. If anything, the floor should be solid. So again, I like Russell Wilson's start here. Like, I don't mind the Mac Jones take. It's just more of where's the ceiling for Mac Jones? We saw with Russell Wilson last week, straight up cooking. Let's see if it's sticky. You know what I mean? 'Cause I'll just roll with the high hand with Russell Wilson here. I think it's going to be I think the ceiling outcome may not be there, but 300 yards passing is still within the cards. So I do like the reverse order of what John said. So he likes Mac Jones, Browning, Russell Wilson. I like Russell Wilson, Browning, Mac Jones.
Man,
goes between Mac Jones and Browning. The only reason my case for Browning would be literally because he has some of the best weapons in the league.
Yeah.
And Chase, Higgins, Chase Brown, and a couple of tight ends that are athletic. Noah Fant and Mike Gesicki. So there's lots of love still on that offense for Cincy. But again, my pick, and I'm just standing on business, is Russ Wilson. But OG, you play who you feel in your gut you should play. That's why we always tell people on the channel. Appreciate you stopping by for sure. But that being said, we got to get down to the 1 o'clock city games, the 4 o'clock games, and break down who we like, what the sides are. So going back to the Bengals-Vikings game, for me, definitely like the over. I do think that there's some risk with that over because we're starting backup quarterbacks here in this matchup. But what I will say is that, again, there's just too much offensive talent on both sides of the football. And the only thing that might really hold this over-under back is the Vikings coming out and just dominating. They had a somewhat so-so game against Atlanta because they just kept on finding themselves in weird positions for defense on the field, where Atlanta, all they had to do was really be efficient running the football and keep the chains moving, and that's exactly what they did. As McCarthy and them just couldn't find much rhythm in the game against Atlanta on Sunday night. But what I'll say is that I think the 3 points for the Bengals is valid here as well. I guess the tough call here is that, do you believe in the Vikings covering because of this defense and Carson Wentz, all he has to do is not turn on the football, or is it the Bengals side of things taking the 3 points and hoping that Jake Browning and his Vikings defense doesn't, rip him apart with a Brian Flores defense that, brings the exotic blitzes, loves to come at you in different angles, will bring a slot corner to blitz you, bring a safety, bring him down. And if Harrison Smith is healthy, the last time I checked, he was questionable. If he's playing, that's going to be a tremendous boost for this Vikings defense. So I just checked, and Harrison Smith is playing today, along with Darren Shaw, their left tackle. So that's huge for Carson Wentz side of things. I guess give me the Vikings to cover because I do like that news in general. And then I also just, again, I think the offense could be smooth when it comes to Jordan Mason getting the football, who we love and I have on more teams than Johnny does in the leagues that we have right now.
Trying to advocate for a trade here on national TV.
Hey, AJ Brown for Jordan Mason for CeeDee Lamb, people. Tell us in the chat what's up with that. But anyway, I do like the Vikings here to cover. I think the Bengals could keep this thing hopefully potent. I just think the Vikings may just have their defense may be ready for Browning. And I said it before, like Browning had 3 interceptions against the Jaguars defense that the Jaguars didn't even prepare him. Like they didn't even prepare for Browning to play. So imagine, Brian Flores defense preparing for Jake Browning, team. And where, again, he threw 3 interceptions. Like, this could be a long day for Browning. So I'm going to take the Vikings. Going to take the points. I'm going to take the over. Johnny, what do you have to say?
I'll probably will still take the Vikings. I just think, I think it's going to be a different game. I think it's going to be – this is a game, I think, where you're going to see Chase Brown finally come alive finally. Believe it or not, the Vikings have actually been one of the better pass defenses in the NFL, but they've actually been one of the worst defenses in the NFL versus the run. So I know for me, I think this is just a really good spot to kind of start to balance the offense out. Like with Joe Burrow, obviously your best player not being there. I think you kind of have to, reestablish what your offensive identity is going to be here for the next 3 months. And I think there's going to be Chase Brown in this game. I think I'm going to go if I was going to take anything, I would take the under in this game just because I think, like I said, I think the Bengals are going to try to have a much more balanced. I'll say balanced, but it's probably going to be a lot more run heavy than what we're used to seeing. And then for the Vikings, right, like the Bengals have been one of the worst teams against the pass. So I think you're going to see Carson Wentz, who's a guy that, like I talked about earlier in the week, that I really actually do like a lot. I think you're going to see that. I think this is a spot too where maybe a TJ Hawkinson kind of starts to show you a pulse again. Justin Jefferson has been Justin Jefferson. He's going to continue to be. So yeah, like I said, I like the Vikings in this spot. I'll take the points for sure. I'll go with the under. But I like this spot a lot for Chase Brown. He's actually a player I've got a lot of. Jordan Mason is obviously everybody's favorite play, including Nick's. But yeah, he's right now on DraftKings. He's coming in at showing 28%. I would expect probably by the time kickoff hits, it's probably going to be closer to 35. I wouldn't be shocked if it was higher. So I think there's some really nice, there's some nice pivots in that price range to get away from if you want to get off of the chalkier play
totally
with Mason. But then, the other two double-digit players are Justin Jefferson and Carson Wentz. So nobody's really playing Bengal players today. Is the take on it? Chase Brown is the highest owned Bengal at almost 7%. And I actually feel like that number is probably a little bit inflated, probably. So, on the DFS side of things, like I said, Chase Brown is he's somebody that I'm getting to. Carson Wentz is somebody I'm playing some Justin Jefferson and some Carson Wentz as well. So this should be it should be a cool game to watch. Obviously with backup quarterbacks, with superstar caliber fantasy players. Now I think this will be a good indication specifically for the Bengals, right? Because this is a 3-month window that they got to look at. For the Vikings, it's a little bit different. And if Carson Wentz comes out and plays, then, maybe we got a little quarterback controversy brewing in Minnesota.
That's totally possible. That's totally possible, but likely, let's see. Yeah. To a game where everything should go as predicted. Packers getting 8.5 on the road, going into Cleveland. Over under is 41.5. Johnny, take it away.
Not really a lot to take away here, man. The Browns are. I will say this though. I will say this about the Browns though. And I actually was, I think I don't even know. I just sometimes I talk so much I forget who I talk to. But I was just like, I think we're at a place it's 3 weeks into the season. But I would take the Cleveland Browns defense over the Pittsburgh Steelers defense right now. And the Cleveland Browns defense they've been tough against the run, so it's probably going to be a tough day for Josh Jacobs. I feel like he's somebody that a lot of people were playing. You see what they just did to Derrick Henry last week. Yeah. So I don't know. That was
impressive.
Yeah, it was. And obviously the Browns have their own problems, right, when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. But I think this is obviously a really good spot for Jordan Love. I wouldn't expect a crazy day from him. I think his line was 240 maybe or 230. Maybe you could get there. Yeah. Or that maybe that just was plus money that I was looking at today with him just for passing.
Plus money is 135, 131 on DraftKings right now. The line for him still plus money, plus 230. The actual line for Love right now on DraftKings is over 223.5. So
240 was actually plus
money.
Yeah, so that's what money. Yeah, so that's what I was saying that's what I was looking at. So that, and I think too, another interesting prop for Jordan Love could be his rushing yards today. I think obviously offensively, they'll get after it. But then you just go over and you look at the other side of the ball for the Packers. I think, man, I still don't think they're getting enough credit for who they are defensively. And this is going to be an opportunity for them to showcase that. The Browns get Quinshaw Judkins today. They get them. Yeah. So that should be interesting. And speaking of,
it should be, but from a personal perspective.
Yeah. The Browns are actually number 3 at a positive side as far as passing yards in the NFL goes. So this is going to be tough sledding for the Green Bay Packers. This is going to be should be a tough and ugly game. in that respect. And then as far as players on DraftKings, Josh Jacobs is coming in at like 12% on. The Packers are at 11%, which makes sense. And then after that, like nobody's really playing a lot of any of these players here. So, if you're playing in a larger field tournament as far as GPP and you want to get different, you can roll the dice here. There's not really anything that like I see that like makes me like, oh my God, like you got to play this. But I think the under in this game. I'm just going to take the Packers straight up on the money line, just because, games like this, a block punt, a pick six, a fumble, anything like that could go either way. But the Packers are actually my survivor pick, one of my survivor picks this week. So
interesting. I hope that goes well for you.
Me too.
I hope it's not a trap game spot.
Me too.
But Cleveland's defense playing like electric. Yeah, they lead the NFL in defense and negative EPA per play. It's really ridiculous what they have done. Their defense just, again, the offense can get a little bit better. Cleveland probably be a better spot. Yeah. I would agree. I'll probably just tease it down to a field goal. This could be a tough spot for Green Bay. This also could just be a spot where, again, it can be sluggish for 3 quarters, and all of a sudden, the Packers start turning on offensively. What I'll say is that I'm looking forward to seeing how the receivers are deployed for Green Bay in this one, as they obviously will have Dobbs playing 2 wide receiver sets. Will Golden have a lot more snap percentage because he only had 40-some% snap share. But this is typical of LaFleur, Green Bay head coach, where he doesn't look to play rookies really right out the gate. So he does have Dotavion Wicks, who's also a player that if you still are needing some receiver depth, you should go out and get right now, because I believe he's still only rostered 20% of leagues or something like that. So I do think Wicks is still a nice pickup. But as far as the rest of this game, yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, Green Bay defense, obviously has showcased that they are one of the top defenses. So they're somehow still out there in the waiver wire, pick them up. But as far as this game goes, yeah, give me Green Bay, tease them down to -2.5. And the over-under is going to be probably just a barely over. I just feel like this could be a script just like last week, where it was looking like the Ravens weren't going to get going at all. Then all of a sudden just they got going in the 4th quarter. So it could be something resembling of that. So I kind of like that take in general, but that's where we stand on that. Oh, before I get to that, yep, Irvin Sanchez, what up, my guy? Welcome to the show. This is an interesting question. We got Breece Hall versus George Pickens, full point PPR. Since I took the first one starting, you could take this one starting. I know what you're going to say. I think we're in agreement on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's George Pickens, man. I think the game environment just screams that, right? For sure. So, this is probably going to be this is going to be the game that everybody's going to run to. I thought, when projections started coming out a little bit earlier this week, I was like, maybe this is my time to, get on Caleb. Oh, no, wait a minute. Everybody's on him. So, but yeah, I like George Pickens in this spot for sure. I think he's due for a bit. I know he had a pretty solid game last week in that Giants spot that went to overtime, but I think he's due for a true George Pickens, 2 touchdowns, buck 20, 6 catches kind of game. And I think this is a pretty good spot for him. The Chicago-Dallas game is definitely going to be very, very, very interesting. And the Cowboys defense is still bad. They're still bad. Breece Hall, as much as I would like to say, yeah, as much as I would like to, but man, golly. Yeah, give me George Pickens,
Yeah, for real. What I'll say to this question is that, I'm in agreement with George Pickens because of the game environment. Dallas is going to look to keep on throwing. And I do think that you just start George Pickens. Breece Hall, the Bucs defense is only allowing 3.3 yards per carry this season. And literally, it would have been a lot better if Nick Chubb didn't run for that 25-yard running touchdown, which they technically allowed him to somewhat score on. So you take that away, that number drops even more. But yeah, tough matchup with Breece Hall. The only way I see Breece Hall paying off, you're going to start him, is that if Tyrod checks the ball down, we know the Jets are going to most likely be playing from behind, and Breece Hall should be the back that gets more of the receiving work. So I I definitely like the pick inside of this just due to the game environment. But speaking of the Jets are getting 6.5 on the road going to Tampa Bay, over under 43.5. Tyrod Taylor starting for the New York Jets, and with Justin Fields out with concussion. Look, it's not pretty. It's already looking like a weird Jets season, of course. But what I'll say is that the only way the Jets are going to be able to be in this football game really is if, they shut down Bucky Irving, which may or may not happen. I think the Bucs showed some, pedigree for sure coming back in a game that was back and forth to the end with Houston on Monday night. They do have a one day less, but they're at home. And again, Tyrod Taylor starting for the Jets. I think Tyrod's going to keep things stabilizing for the Jets, but this is not the spot. This is just not the spot either. So, look, I'm taking the Jets the points, because there's going to be a way where we find footing in this game. But again, would the Bucs surprise me by keeping the touchdown? No. So that's just what it is.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And then the Emeka Egbuka, injury diagnosis.
Oh yeah. So there's a report about him having some snaps limited.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think this might be a spot, right, where maybe if they can get up, maybe they cool it down for him. I think this is definitely a really good Bucky Irving spot. For sure, as the Jets are in the top 10 as far as rushing yards allowed the wrong way.
Yep. The wrong way.
So this might be a really good spot for Bucky Irving, or even as we've seen, Rachaad White coming back from the dead.
God.
Yeah.
God.
But yeah, Bucky Irving coming in as the highest owned player in this game here at 15%. Garrett Wilson coming in at 13%, and then Mike Evans at 12%. I think we're still kind of waiting on a Mike Evans waiting on a Mike Evans game for sure, because Emeka Egbuka has stolen the spotlight early on here in the season. So I think there's that. And yeah, you won't catch me playing any more Jet players for quite a hot minute, as they absolutely annihilated my DFS roster last week and probably cost me a pretty good grip of cash. So yeah, I'm staying away from them. I think this is another spot, right, where the Bucs will win this game. I'm not interested in teasing it or anything like that. I'm just going to take the Bucs straight up on the money line. That's what I'm going to do. And then from a points perspective, if I was going to do anything, I would take the 6.5 for the Bucs for sure. Because I think more likely than not, this is just going to be a situation where the Jets are going to find themselves not able to keep pace with the Bucs. And then the other thing, man, is the Bucs have been low key. They've been a little bit better on the defensive side of the ball, which I think this is one of the things that last year that made them very, very attractive was their defense, their pass defense specifically was one that gave up a lot of yards for sure. And so this year, not necessarily the case when you look at the Buccaneers, is they're at the bottom. Well, they're still not very good. They're better than they were last year. Last year, they were pretty bad, but at least they're in the bottom 8 and not in the bottom 3. So, but overall, like I said, just give me the Bucs straight up, and I'll take it from there.
Yeah, it's fair to say. I just think the Jets could have a backdoor cover the points, but because again, they'll be playing from behind. So that's just what it is. So the Rams-Eagles game we go.
Got a question.
Should be Oh
yep.
God. Who's this fool? Oh. Rob. Good morning to you.
What's up, Rob?
Appreciate you, Rob. Hey ladies. Talking about himself.
Hey, I know you bad.
Bo Nix or Kyler Murray? Bo Nix playing the Chargers, and then Kyler Murray playing the Niners. Division games. Whew. This gets tricky. Probably say Murray. Bo Nix is my guy, but the Chargers, man, their defense has looked phenomenal.
Yeah, they've looked good.
They've looked shut down.
They've looked good.
I know Khalil Mack. I know that, but no, yeah, they they really look like they on something else. J.K. Dobbins revenge game spot.
Oh
But
man, here we go. Here we go.
I know, right? But I'll say this: I do think that Kyler Murray has an opportunity to, he's done well against Robert Saleh's defenses, so I think that this can be a spot for Kyler Murray that you don't want to miss out on. And Bo Nix, I think the game for the Chargers, for as much as they've been high paced, like this could be a spot for division purposes where you're like, Nix is kind of like more on that fringe QB1, QB2, like in 12 team, and the Murray I have solidly as a QB1 this week. So give me Kyler Murray.
Yeah, these are actually two quarterbacks I actually roster in like two different spaces, and I'm just trying to like convince myself like who would I take if I had both of them.
That's fair.
yeah, because I mean like I'm starting them like separately in different places, but this is a good problem. Yeah, this is a good problem to have.
Fair too.
I am gonna say, yeah, I guess just give me Kyler Murray, man. And I'm just not exactly thrilled saying that out loud in the atmosphere world environment.
I'm not either, but it is what it is.
Yeah, because I'm trying to see, like, are they at home? No, they're on the road. Yeah, they're on the road, and Denver's on the road too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Not gonna make it easy for you.
You know what? I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna change my mind right here. I'm gonna go Bo Nix. And I just think the reason why is like I just feel a lot safer with Bo Nix. I think like if there was a situation where and obviously like they both play at 4:00, so you'll kind of know what you need depending on who you're playing. Like obviously, like if you want upside, I guess go for Kyler. But if you just need to kind of stay pace, Bo Nix would be the guy for me. But I just feel a lot more comfortable with Bo Nix. I think and we've talked about it before, you and I both, man. Like when you roster Kyler Murray, it's a roller coaster ride. It's a roller coaster ride.
Hey, Rob, I don't appreciate that, by the way.
Yeah.
No, go Murray.
It's a roller coaster ride, man, with Kyler Murray.
It is though.
Yeah, really so just give me Bo Nix because you kind of know what you're getting, man. Like you kind of know what you're getting. So yeah, I'll take Bo Nix and call it good, man.
That's fair. That's fair to say. The Rams Eagles game we go. The Rams getting 3.5 going into Philly. Take on the Eagles. Over under 44.5. This game should be intriguing for where we see these offenses going forward in a way. The Rams, obviously, Devontae Adams' wrinkle has allowed the Rams to play more 12 personnel in the red zone. So I've seen that change from them playing 11 personnel, 3 wide receiver sets to then 12 personnel where you have 2 tight ends now in the fold in the red zone. So combine that also with Adams, like him getting back on track this past week, gives them a nice little advantage, I think, in this one. The Eagles defense, like their secondary is not what it was last year. So I'm curious in this matchup if that could turn around for them, or if it's just more of the same, and this is going to be more of a sneaky, shootout type of format versus last year, where again, like the Eagles ran all over the Rams, and I'm not sold on that completely to happen again, but it could totally happen again. So yeah, the Rams, Eagles, and then Jalen Hurts for me, like they haven't thrown the ball efficiently enough yet to give me some confidence behind that. Give me the Rams plus 3.5 on the road. The Rams have always played. I think this is their spot for revenge because look, they again got gashed last year by the Eagles, and straight up embarrassed. Believe they were at home too last year. So yeah. I think there's a bounce back for the Rams. I think this is also a prove it point for them because if they do somehow win this game against the Eagles, it'll be something that will definitely be talked about a lot. And McVay is a tough coach for me to kind of bet against in some ways. It's just more of like, all right, like we'll see what happens, but I'm gonna take the 3 points for the Rams, hoping that it's gonna be a close game. The Eagles again are a team that offensive line is definitely their bread and butter, though. So if they find a way just to start mauling, this Rams team again, this could be one of the stupidest takes of the year for me.
No, the Russ Wilson take is going to beat that one, but
we'll see, bro. I'm gonna keep. I got to keep tabs on that one.
I can't believe
I
you
really,
are. I can't believe you. I can't believe
where did this come from? By the way,
Russell Wilson.
I never said I was all in, but I said from a waiver wire perspective.
You put on the tip on the table for him this week. I can't
why not
against the 0-2 Chiefs. I can't can't even bring my mind to even think like. But anyways,
jeez,
I can't. I'm sorry.
Segments.
I can't help it.
Where did this come from, though?
You said it might be one of your worst takes. You said it might be one. You said it might be one of your worst takes, and I said no, probably not. Probably Russell Wilson. Yeah, no.
I think everybody needs to chill with the whole Jackson Dart stuff, and Russ Wilson needs to get.
I didn't even say anything about Jackson Dart.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general, the vibe around it is so stupid.
Yeah,
that's what it is for me. We're talking about the Rams Eagles, John.
Yeah, no, it's the Eagles for me in this space. It's the Eagles for me in this space. You already kind of talked about it, with Philadelphia's offensive line and just their run game. No, they have not evolved. The Eagles have not evolved. My prediction for my QB1 for the year, Jalen Hurts, is not looking very good so far. 2 weeks into the season, as they still being, the Philadelphia Eagles and just kicking the shit out of people up front. And I think that trend continues. I think the Rams have, I know they played the Texans in week 1. I can't remember who they played. Oh, they played the Titans last week. So, this is some real competition for them here as far as the Eagles go. And then as far as the one take I do have on this game is this game it smells like underdog in here. Definitely. You got two of the better defenses. I'm pretty sure the Rams actually statistically are, I think they've given up the least amount of points in the NFL. I think they're 14 and some change. And again, that's them playing against a very banged up Houston Texans offensive line and playing against a rookie quarterback in Cam Ward. So I think, again, man, this is a big test for them today for sure. And I do agree with you as far as Davante Adams and his addition to this group. Both of these guys, Puka and Davante Adams, have been solid so far through the first 2 weeks of the season. There's that. But I think the telling factor in this game is going to be kind of what we've seen over the last couple of weeks with the Eagles. Kyren Williams is in my opinion, is the key factor in this game. If the Rams are able to establish the run, then they definitely have a chance for sure. I think that's what gave the Cowboys a shot against the Eagles, 2 weeks ago. So if that is something that happens in this game, if Kyren Williams is effective and efficient, I do think the Rams do have a chance to win the game. But just for me at this point, I just think the Philadelphia Eagles are just they're a better football team. Still waiting on A.J. Brown to get off the schneid as well. So that's something just to kind of keep tabs on as well. Do they come out? Do they start to force feed him? I know, with these wide receivers, it only takes, a handful of weeks before they start, before it starts getting out in the public space, right, about things. So that'll be interesting. From a DFS side of things, Puka Nacua is the highest owned player in this game on DraftKings at 19%, followed by Saquon Barkley and Davante Adams are your three players that are double-digit owned. The rest of those guys, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, 8 and 7 respectively. But nobody's playing Kyren Williams. So, again, I'll say it again. I think that's really the tell of this game. And if you want to get different in the GPP format, or even if you're looking at players around that price range to get different, we know he's very touchdown dependent, very touchdown heavy. Could be a place for you to get a little bit different there. And even the Eagles defense as well is a place that's not being gone to as well as the Rams. In this game right here, I just don't think there will be a lot of points scored in this game, just in my opinion. But I did take the Eagles. Yeah.
What do you think? A 23-17 Eagles, something like that?
I would even say maybe even lower than that, man. I don't think there's going to be. And the reason why is these are. If you view these teams as two really good football teams, more likely than not, there's not going to be a lot of points scored. That's who it was last year.
Just Chiefs Eagles.
Yeah, I was going to say that's just Chiefs and Eagles last week, right? For as much as what we want, from the Eagles offense, at the end of the day, man, like they're gonna do what wins them games, and this is very Floyd Mayweather, like, if you will, from a football perspective. It's they're not gonna knock people out, like they're just gonna drag it out, 3rd and 1, tush push. You know what it is? Stop Saquon. Hey, we're gonna take a couple big shots down the field. Hey, man, it is what it is. So yeah, give me the Eagles, and I'll take the under.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, we got a good one here. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, we do have a good one. We have a good one.
All right.
Kyren Williams going against Philly or Judkins going against Green Bay. I mean, it's an easy one for me. Give me Kyren. Just because of the usage. I know like Corum came into the fold last week. But in a game where this should be a game where they lean more on Kyren, like you said, to establish the run, just give me Kyren. Like the only way Judkins outscores Kyren this week is that Judkins gets deployed as the Cleveland running back, where he's catching passes and stuff like that late in the game. Yeah. Other than that, like Green Bay's defense it's monstrous. Like, I don't know. This could easily be a spot where, I don't know, maybe I'm just too much on Samson at the moment, but I just think this sets up for a Samson type of game, game flow wise. So maybe they try to get Judkins established early and whatnot, but then it's like then they go to Samson late because they gotta, keep on checking, keep on throwing the football, so they can't establish a run away.
Well, Green Bay and Cleveland both are 1 and 2 respectively in the NFL as far as yards allowed rushing. So that's another reason. And ironically enough, Philadelphia is actually 21st. They've allowed 120 yards on the ground so far this season. So I think just looking at it from that perspective, that's another reason why Kyren is the play here in this space. And plus, there's definitely there's a better likelihood of Kyren Williams falling into the end zone, ironically, than Quinshon Judkins, right? So I think like all those, everything is just pointing in the direction for Kyren Williams. The situation mobbing. I like that, bro. I like that.
To the Falcons Panthers game we go. Falcons getting 5.5 points as a road favorite going to Carolina. The over-under is 44.5. To talk about both of these teams, like I was pretty impressed with the Falcons on Sunday Night Football. Yeah. This defense that got after McCarthy, I think they have 5 sacks, 6 sacks. And they, turned them over late, obviously. So that Falcons defense definitely looked monstrous. All the first-round talent that they've spent over the last couple of years kind of came together, at least for this past game alone. So if that continues, Carolina just lost a few offensive linemen, starting offensive linemen, coming into this one as well. So yeah, like the Falcons.
Bad time. I said bad time to lose linemen.
Oh yeah, bad time. Anytime you lose two of them in one game, that's rough. So I do expect the Falcons to potentially do what they've been doing. From a usage perspective, like Bijan has been used constantly. That's no surprise. It's just more about the way he's been deployed. So not only has we been running the football really well, every time you're looking at these games with Bijan in them, he's getting a ton of check down work. He's getting a lot of receiving usage that we haven't seen the last couple of years. We knew it was capable of him, but to the degree that he, for context purposes, when they played the Bucs week 1, he only had like 20-something rushing yards. They had over 100 yards receiving. Like, what? So, yeah, I mean, look, I would say that the Falcons are going to cover this one. Carolina they showed some fight last week against Carolina, late last week, but that was still a game where the Cardinals, covered double digits. So I learned my lesson with Carolina. Forget them, and give me the Falcons minus 5.5. They should win by 7 or more. Penix, and the only way this game becomes out of sorts is because 1, it's a division game, and 2 is because like Penix got to find a way to at least dominate passing a bit earlier. They moved the chains and whatnot against Minnesota Sunday night, but it was something where if Minnesota would have got a stop or two, that game would have probably been a little bit more different. and it's Atlanta's defense didn't really step up like they did. Again, a story that would have been different. So, like I said, give me the Falcons. The over under 44.5. There's a way this could get backdoor coverage. So I'm gonna take the over for the backdoor. And I think Atlanta is gonna get off to a nice start. I'll talk about a player that I like in this game from a prop perspective later on. Johnny, what did it say about this game?
Well, first thing is, you're talking about Bijan and talking about like what he did,
No, that's Bijan. It's back to being Bijan.
All right, whatever. Bijan, Robinson, whatever. Talking about him in the passing game. And actually, I think it was like a weird stat like I stumbled across like during the offseason. I think it might have been like him and Edgerrin James are the only two backs that had ever went for like 1,500 yards rushing and 60 receptions, I think. So like it's been there. It's just been low key like for him. And I think now like it's just starting to be highlighted a lot more. I don't think Michael Penix needs to like go out and like, be a league leader in passing or anything like that right there in order for the Falcons to continue to be successful. So I think, probably just from a fantasy perspective, just tempering expectations. I think like if shootouts happen, I think they know they have a guy that they feel comfortable with that can be that. I don't think that's necessarily the formula for them. I do agree. I think this Falcons defense has been really good. I was all in week 1, and then obviously them playing the Minnesota Vikings in week 2. Big Minnesota Vikings fan from the outside as far as like what the team brings. So I'm back like this week, man. I think like they absolutely smothered the Panthers out. My guy James Pierce from UT, shout out UT, doing his thing, man. So again, like not shocked in that space. Drake London's a guy that I'm playing a lot of today in DFS just because of what his target share has been early on in the year. I think he's getting like 30% target share, I believe, is something I just seen. Yeah, that's the 11th highest in the NFL, which that's still a pretty gaudy number. So playing a lot of him, playing a lot of Bijan, whatever. I'm actually playing some Kyle Pitts today too, man. For as far as like tight end, I think tight end is what it is. I think we're getting to a place where we can start to kind of leave the door open a little bit, if you will, for Kyle Pitts. Remember, man, this game also it was in the dome for whatever it's worth. But last year, I think week 18, this was one of the Bryce Young coming out parties, aka he's the garbage man, garbage time king. So like maybe it's a spot like that again where maybe maybe he gets there through garbage time. But yeah, like I definitely love the Falcons in this spot for sure. I'm not even thinking twice about it. Bijan 22% owned. I think the public's got it right in that space. London almost 14%. And then from there, it's kind of up in there. You got Ted McMillan, and then Kyle Pitts is the next couple guys. Not a lot of people playing the Falcons defense, which to the point you just made, pretty interesting. So if you have them or if they're still available out there on your waiver wire before kickoff, like that's a great play to go grab them up against the Carolina offense that I think we know is, as the kids say, mid. So at best, mid. So give me the Falcons, aka the Dirty Birds, today.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Can't disagree more with that. Colts Titans should be one of the. This is one of those spots where I'm not gonna say dictates a season, but in terms from a trends perspective, the Colts obviously are a team that are like playing with some house money compared to what we thought about before the season started.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, like on this channel we call him Vanilla Vic because John. We got to shout out you for that.
Vanilla
Vic. So I look, Daniel Jones has been the QB2 so far for fantasy football purposes overall. And it's crazy. Now I get the Titans defense that, again, I think the Titans defense kind of just proved me wrong last week against the Rams when they were at home. Can they like bounce back in some type of way here? I don't know, but I'll say that the Colts getting -5.5 is just an interesting line because I do think that's a valid line, But it also could be one of those spots where, again, like I could easily see this line being only 3 for them because of just a division game and weird things happen in division games. But I guess give me the Colts. Give me the Colts. Give me the Colts to cover. Until I see more from Cam Ward, like it's hard to kind of like say that, the back of Titans for a bet at the moment. So I got to really see it from Cam Ward now. This offensive line, it's like, I believe the Titans are the second most sacks right now in the league. The offensive line is just brutal. So with that being said, like the Colts have been about, middle of the pack, but they still have guys it's still a solid defense all around. So like I said, give me the Colts, the -5.5. The over under. This is a tight line, 43.5. Give me a slight over.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely taking the Colts in this one until proven otherwise for sure. Just want to sound the alarms for everybody. Incoming big JT day. Tennessee Titans giving up 150 rushing yards per game. That's the 4th worst in the NFL. The only other teams worse than them, the Bills, but they obviously just played last week. On Thursday night. The Minnesota Vikings, who Chase Brown was somebody I just mentioned, and Knicks New York Giants. Oh, excuse me. I thought it was the Jets, but the Giants are the worst rushing team in the NFL defensively. So I think this is a really good spot for Jonathan Taylor. I think it's a really good spot for Daniel Jones as well. I agree. This is a really weird under spot here. I think, the Colts they probably just come out and they just run the ball. They do what they do. Tyler Warren, obviously, your guy, he's still doing his thing, man. He's a player I'm getting to quite a bit. I am playing some Daniel Jones in DFS and my GPPs. I also playing a little bit of Michael Pittman as well. I do like this spot for Titans pass catchers, right? Like we believe the Titans will probably be playing from behind. So if they're playing from behind, Calvin Ridley at a very discounted price, Alec Aminor at a very discounted price as well for somebody who's on the field quite a bit. Tony Pollard has been really good. I think you're going to get, if you play him, you're going to get some volume for sure. He actually has 20 missed tackles on his touches this year. That's 6 more than any player in the NFL. So he's doing a really good job there. And then just from a personnel perspective for the Colts, right? Michael Pittman talked about, obviously, Tyler Warren, and then whoever else you want to throw out there for the pass catches, whether it's Alec Pierce, Adonai Mitchell, Josh Downs. They're playing a lot of that personnel. The Colts are. So JT should be in a really good situation, man, for a light box. And even if it's not a light box, the Knicks point, Vanilla Vic has done a really good job at taking advantage of things schematically. So I just like the Colts like a whole lot in this space here. I think, hey, man, we're in week 3. There's, after this week officially, it no longer matters where you drafted players at, right? It's about what they're putting on film and it's about where they're at. And I think we're at a place now where I feel like after this week, Daniel Jones is going to be one of those guys that you're just going to have to play him every single week. And there's no more thought to it at all. And Jonathan Taylor, barring health, it looks like he is back to being in the same space that we thought that he was in 2 years ago when he was being taken number 1 overall. So again, if you got him in your drafts, man, you got a hell of a steal. So playing a lot of Colts today, like the Colts a lot in Cashville. Sorry to all my fam back home, but Colts probably about to get ready to do some work to the Titans this week.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yep, especially with Taylor. It is what it is. Barring injury, he's going to be definitely a top 5 running back for sure. That being said, we're moving on to the Texans and the Jags. Texans are a slight underdog heading into this one. To Jacksonville over under 43.5. Johnny, what you got for this game?
This is a game I think that could be low-key. This could be a low-key shootout situation, for me. I think it low-key could be. I do. I think the Jaguars defense, we all know, it leaves a lot to be desired, right? C.J. Stroud been struggling mightily all year long. Just running for his life back there, man. Just running for his life. And then you take into consideration, too, there's 2 high-end wide receivers that a lot of people have drafted like within their first 15 picks with Nico Collins and Brian Thomas Jr. haven't quite lived up to expectations so far. So I think like this could be the spot. I feel really good about the Nico Collins side of things. The Brian Thomas Jr. side has really got me more concerned than
we weren't high on Brian Thomas heading into the season like that.
No, I didn't like.
I wasn't at least. I should speak for myself. I wasn't like that.
I have him on one roster, I believe, and I like the reason why I have him is because he was there going back into the second round, and like as he's going back into the, I think I was in the 7th spot, so in the 7th spot coming back around, I got it in the 7th spot coming back around, like that's you can't pass on him like at that point. So like there's people that drafted him like at pick 12, at pick 10. So like he clearly hasn't lived up to expectations. And Nico has been struggling to kind of get there as well. What do you got?
We have breaking news. First of all, shout out to Haywood, because that's our guy in the channel. What up, Haywood? Yo?
What up, man?
We look forward to seeing you come on the show at some point in the season. We see you doing your bet thing. We appreciate you and the love you always show us. What you got for bets this week? Put them in the chat for us. But breaking news. Juwan Jennings out for the Niners today. So this could be a Ricky Pearsall and McCaffrey type of game. And now John's got the Justice DFS lineups. I just want to get that breaking news out.
It's actually like my home league, which is like, it's a mess. It's a mess. It is a
Ricky Pearsall time. Let's go.
It is a mess. Lord have mercy. Is it a mess? Like I think this could be one of those games that could low key end up in a shootout. I do think. And then you also have Travis Etienne, who he's probably hit. So him or Javonte have probably been the best two values as far as running back after 2 weeks into the season. Yeah. And again, people are still not playing him at 2% owned. And the Houston Texans ranked 22nd in the NFL against the run. They've given up 120 yards per game, and yet people still are not playing Travis Etienne. So like from a DFS side of things, again, hey, there's another gem for you to go out there and play to be incredibly different on the DraftKings side of things. So yeah, man, like overall in this game, like I'm going to take the Texans. And the reason why I'm going to take the Texans is just because I think we all can agree in this space. Defensively, they are way better than the Jacksonville Jaguars. I say that after I just said Travis Etienne. I mean, they're giving up 120 yards rushing. But I think for what Jacksonville will want to do, Jacksonville's going to have to be patient if that's the case, and give the ball to Etienne and one of the new fantasy flex darlings, Michelle Tootin, as well. So I don't know, man. Like I'll take the Texans in this spot for sure, and I'll see how it goes, man. But I'm pretty sure, like I took them straight up as well, like for my pick. So give me the Texans here. I do like I've been saying, and I think this could be a spot that does go over. And then like, man, for everybody, let's hope and pray to God that Brian Thomas Jr. Comes back to life. He's just only caught 5 of his first 19 targets for 60 yards. It's scary hours right now for BTJ. It's scary.
I'm not worried about BT just yet. He's still like
you don't have him. Why? Of course you're not worried about him. You don't have him.
Can you do that again?
I said you don't have him. Of course. Why would you be worried about him? You don't have him. Yeah, that's easy. I ain't worried about him. You don't have him on your roster.
I love that. This is why I do the show with you, yeah.
Oh, you don't have him.
I know.
I ain't worried.
No, but I speak more for the people that do have them.
Find me Brian Thomas Jr. owners that aren't worried. If you are a Brian Thomas Jr. owner right now and you're watching the show and you're not worried, please put in the chat, I am a Brian Thomas Jr. owner and I am not worried.
The only reason why I say that is because it's only been a few weeks and you spent this pick on him for a reason. You got to believe in the turnaround that's going to happen. if you're in a tight spot or a jam and someone's going to give you a decent trade for him, I'm not. What?
The trade guy, he's back. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, if you have a guy that was, but look, because the value is starting to change based on perception. So if someone's still going to offer you something decent from a decent trade you could benefit from, and you're like 0-2 hole or whatever, 1-1, like I wouldn't necessarily worry about that just yet. It's just more about like, hey, like you got to give it a few more weeks to really see if Trevor Lawrence can really make this connection happen. Because in a couple of weeks, yeah, the value could, change. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh boy, yeah, I could have probably gotten something for him before. But it's just one of these finicky things where it's like, hey, he comes out and has a big game this week. Then all of a sudden people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to keep Brian Thomas now, whatever. But then it's like, if you have him and all of a sudden he does another game, then you're like, ooh, like, I could have probably gotten a little bit more value for him a week prior. So it's just one of these finicky things. If you have Brian Thomas Jr., if you don't have him, like myself, just try to buy low on him. If you have him, just don't get sketched out just yet. I think if this is a game where he doesn't score or doesn't do anything decently productive, then it might be time to maybe panic just slightly. But I wouldn't be so concerned if you have him. Just gotta believe in the talent. Gotta believe in the offense. For this game, I go back and forth on this one. Because it's a division game, and anytime these two teams have always gotten together, weird things happen. The under ends up being really under. The Texans, when they're on the road, they don't play as well. We know the defense is going to show up for the Texans, but again, 26 in the league when it comes to offensive rank for the Texans. And again, they have allowed pressure on 42% of true dropbacks for Stroud. And 37.5% of those are base rushes. That means 3-man fronts, 4-man fronts, not a ton of blitz pressures. So I think Jacksonville's going to take this one. I could be really wrong. But it's just one of those things where I just don't trust the Texans on the road just yet. I don't trust this offensive line. The Nico Stroud connection, we saw it a little bit last week, but I really want to see it at a higher level. But again, that comes with the offensive line. And then is this run game going to get together as well? It's like, Nick Chubb, like I said, had that long type of 25-yard touchdown run, but I kind of erased it from my memory because, again, it was late in the game, and the Bucs technically wanted him to score if you look at the tape. So it's just a spot where I'm going to take Jacksonville. I'm going to believe in, Liam Cohen to get it done. There's some pressure on them already to get things, turned around. You talked about ETN. He's definitely a good price tag to pivot off of. I think Brian Thomas Jr., he's the ultimate, guy that you're like, all right, if no one's going to play him, I just may take a stab at him, especially if you're playing multiple lineups today, in hopes that, again, that this lineup gets turned, this connection between Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr., the man's trade back from Mac Jones to get this connection back on track. But 6,400 for Brian Thomas Jr. is the ultimate GBP play of the week, in my opinion. So, but here's where we're at with it. And then Johnny is going to talk about his Steelers going into New England. Steelers are a slight favorite, going on the road to Gillette. Over under is 44.5 in this one. Johnny, talk about your boys.
All right. Oh well. Before I talk about him, I'm just going to show Haywood's picks up here because we had talked about, we had asked him for, so he's got a couple of them up here for people.
Perfect.
Yeah. So you see, he's got the Eagles, Green Bay, 49ers. Got a little FanDuel boost. Us up here in the Great Northeast, up in Maine, we don't got that FanDuel boost. So if you got the FanDuel boost, go ahead and get it. You see that right there. Eagles, Packers, and 49ers again. And then, just saying, hey, man, check out the pod. He just had his second one ever. So if you're listening, definitely check that out as well. And the pick is in podcast. So, hey, if you're not following us, that's a mistake. And if you're not following this guy, that's definitely a big mistake as well. He's been on a bit of a heater over the last couple weeks as well. And then he's got Titans to cover, apparently. So
he did. Yeah.
So more to come. Yeah, man. Now this game right here, why do we have to go through this every single season with the Pittsburgh Steelers? It's either they start off and they're 5-0, 8-0, 10-0, something 0, and then the next thing you know, they're 0 and whatever coming down the stretch. So I think we're just going to try it a little bit different this year, and we're just going to lose a bunch of games at the beginning and then try to be hot at the end of the season is what it feels like. Mm-hmm. This game scares me so much against the Patriots, way more than it should. I actually had even thought about going down to this game, but I have blown significant amounts of money going to watch professional sporting games in my adult life, and I had tickets to the AFC Championship game in Foxborough to go watch Le'Veon Bell play. After I stumbled to my seat and got my doughboy, Le'Veon Bell was declared out for the rest of the game. So I've didn't even get a chance to see him carry the football, which was the intent and purpose for that game.
That's awful.
Terrible.
Awful.
Yeah. And then who's the cat?
One of the saddest stories I've ever heard.
Who's the cat that played lacrosse and played receiver for the Pats? What's the cat's name? I always forget his name because he did nothing after that. Chris Hogan. That's who it is. Yep, that's why. You see why I forgot his name? Because you're like Chris Hogan. I know Hulk Hogan. I know Hulk Hogan, but Chris Hogan. I got to dig deep into the bag. Didn't he play for the Jets for a little bit?
Very late. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was there for the Chris Hogan game. We'll just call it that. Yeah. And then got a chance to sit courtside and watch LeBron get smoked by the C's. Actually, probably the only basketball game ever in the history of the NBA where you actually don't see a dunk. You heard it right. You don't see a dunk.
You never what?
I didn't get a chance to see a dunk.
What year was that?
It was the year Kyrie was there, but he got hurt. But it was actually
2017.
Yeah, it was like 17. I think it was 2017 actually. But it was dope though.
Yeah.
I met LL Cool J and James White, so that was kind of dope. But back to the Steelers and Patriots. Scary game because the Patriots and Ramondre Stevenson of all people, right? One of the guys that I definitely caught some heat for saying like I thought he was a good late round value. He's been a guy that's been doing pretty well.
Heat's a good thing, bro. Heat's a good thing.
Oh no, I'm in the wrestling business. So he's been doing his thing. He's kept Travion Henderson off the field. I do think this could be a spot, whether it's Ramondre or whether it's Travion. The Steelers have been so bad against the run. Like maybe this is a game where one of these guys pops on the run side of things. Drake May as well. Like I like his rushing prop today as well, just in general, just because of what the Steelers have been not doing against the run. And then the same thing could be said about the Patriots. The Patriots haven't been very good defensively either. So there's that. And then the Patriots still don't have Christian Gonzalez today. And Jaylen Warren, man, golly, dude. Talk about being wrong. Actually, man, I was just
we were so in love. We thought Caleb Johnson. We like Jaylen Warren very early in the process, and then we just were like, man.
I was actually
for this.
I was watching our last night. I was watching our draft process running back show back just to see, and I was like,
I know.
Yeah.
Disastrous now.
Well, I caught heat for Dylan Sampson, but it's still like, it looks like that's slowly starting to dwindle as well. But either way, man, like Jaylen Warren is a guy, like the first couple of weeks, man, like they don't really have a running game, but he is their running game. And obviously he brings some things to the passing game as well. It's gross. It's gross. It's sheer volume. And I think Caleb is now buried. Yeah, man, this is a tough, and this is just a scary spot for me for the Patriots, because I can just see like Stephon Diggs coming out having a game today. Like I can see like a lot of different scenarios where this is. And then the Steelers, man, they got so banged up last week as well. Aaron Rodgers, the king of dink and dunk. No Alex Highsmith today for the Steelers. The Patriots have generated the 6th highest pressure rate in the league with 9 sacks through the first 2 weeks. I'm trying to find a way to convince myself that, you know what, it ain't that bad. It's going to be okay. But you know what? It might be that bad. It might be that bad, man. So yeah, so yeah, it might be that bad, man. So yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah.
Well, I'll take your Steelers. Because I think
I'll
that
take them too,
for as I guess for as bad as Pittsburgh's defense has been, like I still feel like this could be a spot where they do show up a little bit, because with again, as far as this defense goes for the Steelers, they just haven't been great. They haven't found their rhythm yet, which is really weird. The Steelers usually always have a somewhat of a decent pulse defensively, no matter really who's starting. So it's kind of weird to say no Alex Highsmith today. But TJ Watt's got to get going. I haven't seen much of TJ Watt going. I think today might be that day against New England. So, but it is what it is. But I think New England is definitely a team that's definitely on the rise. But I don't think today's a day in the Steelers. This should be more of a competitive game today.
I appreciate your sympathy.
Anytime.
I appreciate your sympathy pick. Yeah.
Last game of the 1 o'clocks, the Raiders and the Commanders. Raiders getting 2.5 going into DC. Take on the Commanders over under 43.5. Biggest story among the rookie running backs is, obviously Henderson. Obviously, will he get going against the Pittsburgh Steelers? It's possible. Just dating back to last week, just going back to this game for a moment, like the Stevenson play where he had like a 50-yard reception was supposed to be Henderson's.
You know what that makes me think? That makes me think about this is what it makes me think. You know what? Last week I didn't have 2 Jets in my DFS lineup, but then I did. That's what it makes me think. I'm like, who cares? Like, who cares?
Exactly. Who cares?
Who cares?
Oh boy. So as obviously 11:30 has come and gone. Ibuka and Kraft are active. Yep. Definitely knew that. We know Jawan Jennings is out. We know Xavier Legette is inactive. So it's Hunter Renfrow season, baby. This is the game. It was last week, but this could really be a game where someone staples. That's all off topic. Raiders, Commanders. Ashton Jeanty. With Jeanty, right? Some of us took him first round, right? Is this the time to panic? Or is this a spot where he bounces back? Jeanty's faced some hard run defense. Patriots, for the lack of their somewhat total defense, the run defense is a top 10. So that was the first week. The next week was against the Chargers. Chargers, like I said, we saw it earlier. There might be a giveaway to who we like later today. But the Chargers in general, the defense was just rough. So Jeanty come into a game where the Commanders are, bottom third when it comes to run defense. Like, this could be a bounce back spot for Jeanty here. My problem is that he's only played 56% of the snaps last week in a game that was the game felt more like it was getting away from the Raiders, but it really, for the most part, was 10-point game for the most part. But again, he went from 86% of the snaps week 1 to 56% in week 2. They were mixing in Zamir White. They were mixing in freaking Dylan Laube. It was weird, yo. It was
from
just
New Hampshire.
Weird,
from New Hampshire, Dylan Laube, dude, from New Hampshire.
Oh, God, yo.
Johnny Camp,
not that. Not God,
Johnny Camp, man.
Oh Lord, that's like a mix of the Boston mixed in with Mike Tyson a little bit,
Okay.
Okay.
I've never got that.
That's what I
I've never got that.
But I'll say this: if you have Jeanty, you just gotta start him.
Yep.
Because if this is the week where he goes semi off. So RB24 week 1, RB37 on week, last week. If this is the week where he, breaks at least being a solid RB2, then it could start going up. My biggest gripe right now is again he's only gotten 4 targets in the passing game, so 15 total touches, 11 carries last week, and then 4 targets. they have to involve him a lot more. I think there's a sneaky spot for Genty to score a touchdown in this spot as well. So, and then on the other side of things, Marcus Mariota started for Jaden Daniels. Yeah, this is where we're at, people. This is week 3 of the NFL season already. We got backup quarterbacks and more backup quarterbacks. Marcus Mariota starting. First time he's actually started a game in its entirety. Sorry, no, that was Carson Wentz. But Marcus Mariota, he did start last year. So I do like Commanders in this spot because I do think that Mariota keeps things, keeps the rhythm going for this offense. Like, you worry about sometimes where backup quarterbacks come into the fold, but Marcus Mariota is similarly-esque to what Jaden Daniels, can bring to the table as far as from a skill set perspective. He knows he's got to check the ball down. He knows he's going to make the safe plays. He knows he has to keep on moving the chains. So I think in a spot where the Commanders' offense, like, I'm not going to say they don't miss a beat, but it's something where, again, Jaden Daniels against Green Bay, that was a monstrous bad matchup. So give me the Commanders covering in this spot, and then, man, 43.5 between these two teams. Like, I'm going to take the slight under here. It could be like a 23-17 like type of football game in this one.
Man, I'm going with the Raiders. I was just looking at my.
I like this for my Genty shares. Go ahead. Keep
I was just looking at my pick, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm actually gonna go away from the Commanders, and I'm gonna take the Raiders. Like, I was on the fence, and I was just thinking, I was like, man, like, going into this game, like, nothing's changing for the Las Vegas Raiders. Like, nothing's changing. Like, they're not dealing with any, like, dramatic injuries. Like, they're not dealing with, like, personnel. Like, nothing's changing. Like, yeah, Marcus Mariota is similar to Jaden Daniels, but Jaden Daniels, he's one of one. He is one of one. And he is, and I'm not saying anything that, like, anybody watching doesn't already know. Like, he's the heartbeat of that team. Like, everything goes through him. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, definitely like Ashton Genty already this week for sure. Just given the spot that he's in and the price point from a DFS side of things. Again, 2 weeks into it, whatever, man. But, like, had said from the very beginning, like, I just couldn't subscribe to taking Ashton Genty that high. Just couldn't do it. Now, Bill, on the other hand, on the other side of the ball, this is not a bad spot for him either, coming into his first week as probably the full-blown bell cow, or the guy that's should get the most snaps in this offense. So I think that's a place too from the DFS side of the world where people can go to. And then, did we not just see what Tucker Kraft just did to the Commanders on Thursday Night Football? And you got Brock Bowers coming to town. Like, I just think, like, I think this is one of these spots where, like, we could look at, or we could talk about later on tonight and be like, man, how did we not see this, right? So give me the Raiders plus the points, man, in this one right here. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it and call it good. DFS side of the world, Jacoby Myers is a guy. That's the guy everybody's getting to at 15% for the receiver side. I think, I think we're seeing it, right? Like,
that's your guy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, we're seeing it. Like, we're seeing it happen right here, right in front of our eyes. I've had a couple, like, really weird takes, like, building my lineups. I was like, man, this is the week for, like, all the guys that, like, we've loved that, like, their price point isn't, there isn't any, their price point isn't aggressive. Like, this is probably the last time that, like, we're going to get some of these guys.
I'm really curious how Debo is going to be today then.
Yeah, I thought about him. I thought about you. I thought about him. I was like, wonder what that looks like as well. Like, even kind of took a look at some props. Didn't really do anything, but, like, there's players that are definitely on. Jacoby's at 14. Both defenses are in double digits. Mariota's at 10%, like 4K on DraftKings, right? Like, that's obviously really good value to kind of build your roster, like you talked about earlier, like a stars and scrubs approach. And then, you have Brock Bowers, McLaurin, and then nobody is playing Ashton Genty. Nobody's playing Bill. So those are two running backs that, like, I'm getting to. Listen, there's enough money out there for all of us. There's enough money out there for all of us. Yeah. So, yeah.
Guy Swanson in the chat.
What up?
He's at 500 on BB Anytime TV Juice. What is he talking about?
What if talking about maybe Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt? Maybe I don't know. BB.
Brock Bowers.
Yeah, there we go. Brock Bowers. Okay, yeah, Brock Bowers.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming,
Okay.
I'm assuming that. This is like the last time I probably buy low on Brock Bowers too. He might go off today.
Yeah, he might.
He probably could go off today. What's his price today?
Yeah,
6,000. The highest price.
Yeah.
No, you didn't miss DFS segment. We just talk about inflows and in between. So the DFS questions, we try to get to it at every single part of the segments as we go here with Raiders.
Yeah. I'm with
Mariota could be a winner. Iggy, what up, Iggy?
What up, bro?
Mario could be a winner. Yeah, Brock Bowers. But yeah, look, like as far as this game goes, yeah, like look, I think this is going to be something where this could be a spike. I don't want to say it could be a sneaky spot, but it definitely could be. Deebo Samuel 6,100 is like another receiver that's like, is he too priced up? I don't know. I liked him when he was a few $100 less, but ownership wise, like, could be a nice little bounce back spot. Honestly, though, Drake London 6,000. Though I'm looking at too. Like, oof, that could be like a spot where. What's his ownership right now? By the way, Drake London.
We just talked about it, man.
No, we didn't talk about Drake London though.
Yeah, we did. Definitely did. Yeah, 13%.
Okay. Yep, another spot people can go to. But yeah, look, that's all we got. 4 p.m. slate of games. Here we go. Saints, Seahawks. A staker. Saints, Seattle. Yeah, 7.5 for Saints. Saints have been pretty competitive though. Like for the most part, like they've just been a team that just talent-wise across the board. I don't know. They've just been in close games. Like, they haven't lost by more than 7 points all year. So the line here, I guess, makes somewhat some type of sense, the 7.5. But I will say that Seattle's defense has been monstrous. They've really cranked up the pressures and really have been able to, defensively been able to get down, just take a ton of pressure. Go back to Brock Purdy week 1, where Brock Purdy faced the most pressure out of all the quarterbacks in week 1. And then Seattle putting it on your Pittsburgh Steelers last week. It was just something where Seattle just had everything clicking. And it's Darnold, like a spot where it's like, ooh, well, can Darnold get some love here? Against the Saints team that, I don't think Darnold's going to be like high owned in general. When it comes to this game, what's his price tag? He's what, 5,100? I know, no rushing side of things, but if Seattle's gonna blow this game off the rooftop, like, obviously Walker's gonna be on, stuff like that, whatever. But I think from a betting side of things, give me Seattle. I wouldn't do the 7.5, but probably give me the 7. And the over I'm gonna take because I do think that the Saints can, find ways to score in this one. I just think that with Olave, Kamara, Shaheed, Juwan Johnson, they all are, getting theirs. Like I was saying before the season started, where I was like, the Saints are going to find ways to get, their offensive threats the ball, in a offense that loves to keep the pace going. So, but yeah, give me Seattle to cover the 7. The 7.5 is a little trickier. But tell them they'll cover the 7. We got a bunch of comments in the chat. My 6.5 is safe for Seattle. Yep, agree with that. Derek Swanson, Arizona and San Fran always play weird games. That is true. And Walker going to eat today. I agree with that too. No Charbonnet today. No Charbonnet today, right? Or is he still questionable?
He was doubtful before kickoff,
okay.
So he's probably not playing. I haven't seen anything any different. I took him out of all my lineups. So yeah,
Walker's probably the chalkiest play at 5,800 today.
No, that's your man Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason is the chalkiest play. So it's Jordan. Mason. Yeah, it's Jordan Mason and it's him. Those are the two really chalky spots up top.
Okay, that's fair to say.
Yeah.
We all know, love me some Jordan Mason. What do you say to this game, Johnny? Are you agreeing with Seattle covering? Or do the Saints have an opportunity to keep this thing close?
I'm probably going to stay away from this game, like from a betting side of things, but
I don't blame.
I feel like the Saints have been playing tough, man. Saints have been playing tough. They've been playing tough, right? And then the other part of this too, like, is obviously like Seattle's at home, and like I think we know what that looks like with Seattle at home. Then, like you mentioned, man, like the Saints, like they're still in the top 10 in plays ran for the entire season. Right. So I think this is like a really good space to get to for a lot of different players. Again, like I'm trying not to overcomplicate it this week when I'm looking at things. No, JSN is feeling a little sick, had flu-like symptoms. But again, man, with the target share that he's been getting, it's hard not to go back to him. Like he still hasn't been priced appropriately yet. So even if he's sick, I'm still going to take my stabs on him. Juwan Johnson is still slightly underpriced at tight end as well. So I'll take my shots there. Kamara, I know people had their questions and concerns about him in the running game, but every time they've been giving him the ball, it's been a light box. It was actually one of the stats like I had just seen that the Saints have faced a light box on 73% of their rushing plays. That's the highest in the league. So that's the best place you want to keep Kamara at instead of like, keeping him, keep running him into, stack boxes. I think a lot of that is a product of the game script where the Saints have been playing from behind in certain instances. I think there's just like a lot of really good pieces for me that I think like here, like in this game on the DFS side of things. You still have Chris Olave out there. Sam Darnold's not overly priced. I think, Spencer Rattler, I feel like this is his first game on the road in the NFL. And good luck, man. Good luck out there in Seattle.
Hey, yo.
Oh, man. Like, that's, bro, yeah. And then, and this is where I'm struggling. This because, like, I have Ken Walker in a couple leagues and I have Sharps in a couple leagues. I want to play Ken Walker so bad this week, but I know the moment that I play Ken Walker, there is no in between. It's like if he's got a smash matchup and he's 8% on, and I play him at 30%, he's gonna pull his hamstring. If I don't play him at 30%, he is going to absolutely destroy the slate. He's going to destroy the slate. So I'm just like, oh my God, man! Like that's the tough. That's
where you just go and bet him. It is what it is.
Oh yeah, man, that's the toughest. Well, yeah, it's easy to say, but it's like, man, like if you do that, like if you don't play him at this price point and he smashes, like you don't even stand a shot. Like so it's like so like that's what it is. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm just like, oh my God. So anyways, I'll take the over in this game. If I was going to do anything, I'll take the over. I'll take the Seahawks straight up as far as pick them. If I was going to go against the spread in this one, I would maybe bump it to 8.5 to give myself a shot with the Saints to make it.
Wait, what's 8.5 now?
No, I said I would bump it to 8.5. Yeah, I would bump it to 8.5. I'm bumping to 10. Yeah, I would bump it 8.5. And then, we'll see where it goes from there, man.
Torrey Horton, 3.4 for value today. I think this is going to be an interesting spot for him. Just because if JSN's deal with anything like flu-like symptoms, whatever, like this could be a game where Seattle tries to establish a run a time. But Horton at 3,400, all it takes is one decent play downfield. We saw it already earlier.
If that's the case, then why are you not playing Cooper Kupp? Like I'm not like not being a jerk, but just like from the if you feel like JSN, like if he shouldn't or people aren't going to play him or whatever the case may be, I just think like the natural trickle down effect would be either A, Cooper Kupp, or B, it might be like Elijah Arroyo at tight end. So maybe that's just a place for you to get different, like as far as pass catchers go. Yeah.
We told you.
Yeah, bro. Because I'm telling you right now, like if I play him, like that's exactly what's going to happen. I can promise you.
But no, you're right about Cooper Kupp. Yeah, not to say I forgot about it or anything. It was just like, it's like, hey, it's like I think Torrey Horton could be like it's the 1,600 price difference. That's what I was really thinking about because what it takes sometimes to really get over the hump is really like that 3-ish K receiver, like that could really allow you to play other things at other positions. So that's what I was kind of thinking about from a roster perspective. Right. But Cooper Kupp at 5K is not, expensive. No, so it's something that's modest. So Yeah, that's something you can definitely go to if you think JSN won't be JSN today. Broncos Chargers, a game that is a AFC West showdown. Broncos 2.5 underdog going into LA. Over under 45.5. Johnny, what you got for this game?
Man, this is going to be a actual real life good football game.
Totally.
This is going to be good football game. And I think like this is going to be a good one. And I think, right, like featuring 2 rookie running backs, right, that we've had very high hopes. So maybe this is the week that every rookie running back comes to life, minus Caleb Johnson. If I'm
imagine Caleb Johnson really does come back out of nowhere today. That'd be crazy, right? That'd be scripted.
Listen, that's like, I'm not even, you're gonna make me go old man. I'm not falling for your tricks and shenanigans. Not gonna do it. I think like this game right here, I think it's gonna be. This is a tough one to call, man. I think, who did I take on this? I took the Chargers, just because they're at home and like they have been playing lights out, just in general, right? And I think the Broncos, for all the positive things like we have to say about them, there have been moments where like they just haven't looked in sync and in tune. And I think the Chargers really have something to prove. I think obviously like Justin Herbert, like I think it's finally started to click, for Harbaugh that like Justin Herbert has always been like one of these elite talents at quarterback. And, there was the time where before Harbaugh, they just threw the ball every down. And then last year they tried to run the ball every down. And now, like, I think they found like a very nice common ground to highlight what it is that the team does well and to have some of those runs, to call runs with purpose, and not just because, hey, like that's just, it is what it is. So him really playing to the personnel, I think has been a really cool thing to see between him and Greg Roman. And then the Broncos, right? I like them. I like them a lot, man. But if I'm just going to take the Chargers and just call it good straight up. Again, this is one of those other situations where like, if you told me that this game went under, I would absolutely believe it 1,000,000%, because these are 2 of the best defenses in the NFL. Although Denver, man, like it just feels like in real life, like they haven't lived up to the expectations that we seen last year or that they put out on film last year. And I know that's kind of crazy to say that like out loud, but that's that's what it is. I mean, like they're averaging, they're giving up 20 points a game, about 300 yards. So like, that's just not what we're used to seeing. So all of that said, you have 2 backfields that are split. DFS side of the world, man, Keenan Allen, bro, I could lose my mind about Keenan Allen. Like from a season long perspective, like he's not playing a ton of snaps, but when he's getting in there, like he's making plays happen. Like I love it. I love it. For all the OGs out there, I love it for all the unks out there. For sure.
For real.
4,700. Talked about price points. Like this is a great price point to get to. And then Ladd McConkey, he's another guy that was drafted in the same range as like Brian Thomas Jr., Nico Collins, in that same space that like haven't necessarily got what we signed up for, like as far as his production goes. But I think that's just, again, part of what's happened with the roster that the Chargers had, by bringing Keenan Allen back in. Obviously, he does some things that Ladd McConkey does. So it's been very interesting. And then when you switch over to the Broncos side of things, Troy Franklin, I forgot about QJ as well. I'll make sure I don't, got to acknowledge him for the Chargers. Hey, man, it's the year of Daniel Jones and Quentin Johnson, man. Like, it is what it is.
Hey, yo, man. I love football.
And then, like, Cortland Sutton, man, like, one of the guys, like, both of us, I still felt pretty strong about him. Hasn't really came through yet. And I say yet, because I still believe in him. But then you have Troy Franklin, who is shown up out of nowhere. Everybody was Marvin Mims, Evan Ingram, and now it's Troy Franklin. Imagine that. Imagine it being Troy Franklin. So this game, I'm probably not going to get to a lot of players in this game. I think I did one lineup in a $4.20 max with Herbert, Ladd, and maybe QJ, I think. And then I think I ran it back with Troy Franklin. But yeah, overall, man, I think this is just going to be a better football game than it's going to be like from a fantasy environment.
I agree with that. And give me the Chargers. Give me the Chargers to cover. Like you said, the Broncos defense hasn't looked like the Broncos defense. It's kind of actually been the opposite. Chargers defense have been on point to start the season. The Broncos, not so much. Bo Nixon's offense, like, I love Troy Franklin, but you gotta get Cortland Sutton the ball. There's no way you should have 1 catch this past week in a game that you lost, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's where they gotta get things going with Cortland Sutton for sure. No Evan Ingram today because he's a bum and he's always hurt. And
he said he's a bum.
Pretty upset that I drafted him in a couple places where I needed a tight end. But give me the Chargers. The over-under is gonna be very interesting, but I'll take the under here with the Chargers. Game of the week. As far as Vegas goes for points. Yeah, who thought it, right? The Cowboys and the Bears expected to score 49.5 points for the over-under in particular. Cowboys coming into this game as a slight favorite going into Chicago, Soldier Field, take on the Bears. Talk about your boy Caleb Williams and your boy Dak Prescott, right?
That's a negative on Dak Prescott. That's a negative. I still will stand on that one where I got smoked out in any conversation that I had with people about Dak Prescott and how I felt.
Did you? Him. Not every conversation,
bro. Like I have Dak Prescott.
I believe people took Jordan Love over Dak Prescott coming.
No, they didn't. Come on. No, they didn't.
Really,
dude? No way. No, they did not. No, they did not. I have Dak Prescott in one league, and I have him.
Is Watson still here? I thought he was sick. I thought he was on love with you.
No.
Anyhow.
Yeah. This is an interesting game. I think from a lot. Like this is obviously like the flashy game, and this is where everybody's going. So of course, this will be the game where the final score is 17-13. That's what will happen in this game is the Cowboys defense will decide to show up and play. The Bears defense will decide to show up and play. And it'll be 17-13. But yeah, Caleb Williams, man, like, again, hey, man, we're 2 weeks into this thing and I'm still like, hey, man, like it is what it is. I think we found out the Detroit Lions are still a really good football team. The Green Bay Packers just might be a little bit better. And I think right now with the Cowboys, right, like, listen, they had their Super Bowl game against the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Everybody's talking about Micah Parsons is gone, this, that, and the third. And like, hey, you know, this defense they can't. And I think that might have been a ceiling game for them. Like they were up for that game. Like there's no question. And then last week, I don't care how you spin it. The New York Giants have no business putting that many points up on anybody. They have no business doing that. Like that they have no business being in that space. No business at all. And then like when you look at the Chicago Bears, man, like the one guy like we talked about, you know, Roma Dunze, man, like we just, you know, I think I might have him in like 1 out of my 22 leagues, man. And like that sucks to say out loud. I was there for him last year, like in a keeper league. It looks like he's the guy, man. And I drafted a lot of DJ Moore. I drafted a lot of Caleb Williams. I drafted a lot of those guys, man. And I'm still okay with Caleb Williams because I think quarterback is one of those spots where like you're gonna have up and down weeks. Like it's not a cumulative thing. It's just up and down weeks, right? And does your roster balance it out from a points perspective? So I'm not ready to quit Caleb Williams yet at all. George Pickens, you know, obviously he had a game last week. I don't know, man. Like, the Bears, man, they got a couple DBs hurt, like, as well. DeAndre Swift and Javonte Williams are two guys, like, in that price point for backs where we talk about, like, Ken Walker, Jordan Mason. Those are two places where you can get a little bit different because not a lot of people are playing those guys today. But, yeah, there's a lot of ownership at Roma Dunze, 17% for him, 17% for Lamb. 14% for Caleb Williams. I'm pretty sure he's probably the highest owned quarterback on the slate this week. I'm almost positive. But yeah, Javonte is at 8 and DeAndre Swift's at 5%. So like not a lot of people are playing like secondary options in this game. So like that could be like a nice way to get a little bit different if you want to. Just to play some secondary options, although it's really hard to get away from Rome and that 5,300 price tag and just what he's been doing as of late. It's really hard to get away from him. So I'm playing some players in this game, but I'm not like going like full on nuclear and making sure like I get pieces of this game in all of my lineups. But the lineups that I have players in this game, I have a lot of them in the game. And in the other lineups where I don't, like I just don't. So if you're maxing out in GPPs or, you know, if you're hand building, like that could be, or even single entry, that's just kind of a theory I'm taking along in this. But for this game right here, man, I think the Bears finally get their first win of the season at home, desperate. Ben Johnson's been, you know, cutting WWE promos damn near, you know, so I love it. I think this is a get right spot for him, man. I know. And I ain't even gonna talk no shit about you if you take the Cowboys, because this is definitely a pick'em game, man. Like there ain't no doubt on this.
Well, how I feel about the Bears defense coming into the season was, I guess, a little bit more higher than expectation.
Yeah.
But now Jalen Johnson really changes things. You just signed Stephon Gilmore. I believe Stephon Gilmore just signed with the Bears, I believe. Am I correct on that? I thought there were some rumors that he was going to sign with them, but yeah, look, no, he anyhow, either way, I guess they didn't sign him. But again, the secondary for the Bears is going to change things a little bit for me in this one, just because like it's something where oh, George Play. Hold on. We'll pause my take for the moment. George Play, I hadn't seen you in a while, bro. What's up, yo? Appreciate you coming out. What's he got? So should I start Sam Darnold or Geno Smith? Wow. That's something I did not expect to answer today. But that's tough.
That is a toughie, man. It is a toughie.
It's definitely a toughie. Give me Darnold, because Geno just did not look great against the Chargers defense. Mind you, yes. I don't know. Give me Sam Darnold, because I do think he's been a lot more competent. And dare I say, have we been a little bit too off-putting that he was going to be like just a fringe like QB2 all year long? He's starting to kind of step up and score some more points for the Seattle team, and he may just have an even better floor than Geno Smith at the current moment. Also needs help with the flex standard league. George, you got to tell your league mates to stop playing standard league.
Do better.
It's terrible.
Do better.
But yeah, not much on the waivers because of all these injuries. Yeah, JD5 was hurt. But non-flex. How many you got to start for? This is just one flex. George, let us know. If it's just one flex, give me Ridley. Because the rest are rookies,
which is hilarious because literally this like that everything minus Calvin Ridley, that's literally what I have on one of my rosters with all of like these hurt players. I have that and a bunch of injuries, so that's hilarious.
Yeah. Just go with Calvin Ridley. I think he has a great matchup today.
Yeah.
So I do like Ridley in that spot. I'm tempted to say Henderson, but we'd have to see more of usage before I say Henderson or even Harvey. Like Harvey is someone we're definitely waiting on as well. And then Golden has an opportunity, but I just don't think it's today. I just don't think it's today. In the future, just keep on holding on. But yeah, look, I think we definitely think you should start Ridley for sure. But yeah, going back to Cowboys take and the Bears. Look, both Dak and Caleb Williams right now looking solid as QB1s. If you've been starting them week in, week out. And I just think that when it comes to, like you said, Russell Wilson looked like a stud QB1 muffin out there last week in a shootout game that went into overtime as well. But I do think that this, like I agree with you that this should be a bounce back spot for Chicago. But I'm going to take Dallas. I think Dallas, for as much as I don't like them like that either, have looked bit more in sync in general. I think the key matchup for me in this one is going to be Jake Ferguson taking on the Bears. This is a matchup we're kind of watching for, pretty much looking into all week. Jake Ferguson, 61% of the snaps in the slot, where the Bears have allowed 4 touchdowns via the slot. So I think there's a spot where it's a sneaky sprinkle spot for Jake Ferguson to have a anytime touchdown in this spot. So I think that's something that we can talk about the prop section. But I think the game over 49.5 makes a lot of sense because both of these defenses are now looking like really great. And again, no Jalen Johnson for me again just changed everything for the Bears. The Bears defense for me, just because Jalen Johnson was one of those like solid corners that match up with anyone, you could move him around the defense anywhere. Yeah, give me Dallas slight favorite just to take this one. But if Chicago wins this one, wouldn't be too up in arms about it because they definitely need a win. Cardinals, Niners, last game to 4 p.m. slate. Cardinals getting 2.5 going on the road to Santa Clara to take on the Niners. 44.5 is the over under. We have no Jawan Jennings in this matchup for the Niners, and the Kyler Murray rolling into this game against the Niners. He's had some success against some Robert Saleh's defenses. And the Niners, look, Mac Jones starting. You like Mac Jones, obviously. Are you taking him to win as well?
Yeah, I am. I think the Cardinals, man, you just don't know what you're getting. They're such a Jekyll and Hyde team, 100%.
That's true.
Such a Jekyll and Hyde team. The 49ers, for all things that are said about them, just in general, even when they're missing players, it's a well-oiled machine. They have other players to be able to step in and do things. I will say this, though. One of the things, I'm just going to let my man cook out here because he's cooking. He's right along with me, man. Mac Jones, Ricky Pearsall, I'm there, man. I'm there. I made my mistake last week. I thought about playing Mac Jones. I didn't.
They play Justin Fields instead.
Yeah, I learned already, so I'm just gonna go back. And Pearsall now is a great play. Him and McCaffrey both. I think obviously McCaffrey maybe McCaffrey ends up being the best overall play on the board at running back other than Bijan or Bijan, however you want to say it. Yeah, I like this situation. I do think one thing we need to keep an eye on is we just need to keep an eye on what's going on up front for the 49ers on the offensive line. Trent Williams, first week, he did not have a really good week. And I'm not saying the Cardinals are going to give him problems or anything like that defensively. Good. I don't feel bad now. I just think that it's something just to keep an eye on from that perspective, right? The 49ers are still going to play defense. Kyler Murray, I think his ability and mobility, sometimes I think he's 27 now, 28, man. I think we're still thinking about him as this 21, 22-year-old guy. And then just him having the problems across the middle of the field, that's a thing. So I don't know, man. I don't have a really good feeling about the Cardinals in this space. Trey McBride's the only person I feel good about. Trey Benson, for your season long leagues, making sure you're keeping good tabs on him, man, because it looks like he's not going away anytime soon, in that space. But yeah, man, I'm just going to take the 49ers, man, at home, call it good. Don't worry about it. This goes against everything that I would traditionally say, there's no changes. Well, obviously, Brock Purdy's not playing quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. George Kittle's not playing tight end. Jawan Jennings isn't playing football today. Yep, I think I'm just going to go with the 49ers because that's how much I trust the Arizona Cardinals.
That's fair. Cardinals are a Jekyll and Hyde team, so give me the Niners as well. I do think that for as much as I like Kyler Murray, I can't ignore how this whole team looked against Carolina late in the game last week. Where they let the onside kick go, and they literally had an opportunity to, get within striking distance late. The Carolina Panthers did. So, give me the Niners. I do think that, they're a well-oiled machine, with Mac Jones. I'm saying even starting at quarterback. Definitely think Ricky Pearsall can have a day today as well. What's the ownership of McCaffrey right now?
They just did another run, literally the site that I get my ownership from. They just did another run. Actually, okay, well, 22%. So it did update. So 22% for McCaffrey.
Maybe what? He's 7. What? No. What?
I mean, it's
highest running back on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, it's really honestly at that space. It's really it's either A, you're taking McCaffrey, B,
Yeah.
you're playing Bijan, or C,
Yeah.
you're playing JT. Like those, like in my opinion anyway, like, and all three of them have like really good spots like to be in from a DFS side of things. So but I could
Yeah, I
and
think
like the thing
6,900
like
Chase Brown is just an interesting
but
spot,
and like
but
and the thing for McCaffrey, man, like for me so far, is like he's healthy.
Yeah.
But like it's just been the volume that he's been getting. It's not that he's like
Right.
looked like better than he's ever looked. It's just that he's getting the volume. So
55 yards rushing, you know what I'm saying, last week, and then 69 week 1. So it's I mean the catches have been great. You know what I'm saying? That's where we get the bread and butter at. You know what I'm saying? Like so as long as he keeps on catching, you know, six catches or more every week, I'm down for that. Like just give me that every week. So I like that. But yeah, look, that's all the games until we come back later this evening where we talk about the Chiefs and the Giants later on tonight for the afternoon segment. So stay tuned as we back on your ears once again as we get on before the Sunday Night Football game happens around like 7:15, 7:30, whatever. We'll get on. So we're live after the Sunday afternoon games. To the next segment we go to, we're going to finish this thing out. The prop shop is back. You know, we got the core 4 betting bets for week 3 NFL season. Prop shop right now is 6-10 on the year. So looking to definitely bounce back to get to the 500. It's just been Caleb Williams 1 yard away, literally rushing, you know, from getting this better record. Rodgers was 1 passing touchdown away last week as the Steelers started out pretty nice early in the week, and then again, like last week against Seattle, and then Seattle just put it on them. So a couple of bad beats, you know, the last week or so. So we're looking to bounce back. But that being said, first one I got for everybody here: Kyler Murray over 27.5 rushing yards. Robert saw his defenses in 5 games against Kyler Murray has averaged 57.6 rushing yards. So give me Murray when it comes to that. I think this line is way too low. And if you want to take this at plus money for like, I think might be some books might have this at plus 30 or plus 35 rushing yards. I would do that as well. So that's the first. Drake May over 222.5 passing yards. Definitely think this game could go back and forth between, you know, defenses that they're going to get the ball out. Offenses are going to get the ball out pretty quickly between Pittsburgh and Drake May. I was tempted to go Aaron Rodgers again for over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And he's not an official bet, but he's something I bet that can be made in this matchup, obviously. And it's something that Rodgers is 1 passing touchdown away from passing Brett Favre on the all-time list. He needs to get 2 to pass him on the all-time list today. So Rodgers is not an official bet, but he's someone that I would put some money on because he's plus money when I checked the books this morning. But give me Drake May over 222 pass yards because Drake May has definitely looked better the last few weeks, and he's passed this line in both games. Kyle Pitts over 38.5 receiving yards. This line has gone up to like 40 or 41.5. I would still take that as well. You got to look at the usage. Looking at the Zach Robinson, how he's offensive coordinator for the Falcons, how he's used and deployed Kyle Pitts, it's been remarkable, and I love it. This is how he should have been deployed all along. As a move tight end, playing the slot and getting him in space, playing against linebackers, playing against safeties. Get him in space, give him the ball, get him these check down easy options for Penix. So it's 38.5. Again, it's gone like 40 or 41.5 on some books. I would definitely take that as well. Deebo Samuel over 4.5 catches. And this is a FanDuel play for the Russian receiving because for whatever reason, it's not a DraftKings still. And that's the Russian receiving yards over 50.5. Look, no Austin Eckler and no Jane Daniels now. So with those being said, this offers an opportunity to use Deebo like he's been used in the past as a scat back-ish type of, using reverses, using them all over the formation, and taking advantage of matchups. And I do think Cliff Kingsbury can find a way to do that today. So I do like both of these bets. They will be counted. the line I kind of like a little bit more is the rushing receiving, but I still don't see it on DraftKings. If someone's in the chat, let me know if that is around, because I still didn't see it on DraftKings. But like I said, it's on FanDuel if you want that line. And nope, it's still not on DraftKings for whatever stupid reason. Stupid DraftKings, they probably know what's up. But yeah, both of these will be counted. If you want the rushing receiving, you have to go to FanDuel for that one or another one of your books. But 4.5 catches over for Debo. I love over 4.5 catches for Diggs. This is a sneaky spot because I think the performances haven't really showcased what Diggs has been yet. But I do expect the snap percentage to rise today because he's played it was 43%. Then he went up to he stayed around that range in terms of snap share. And now, so 41% week 1, 52% last week. I think he definitely rises up again. There was also talk in the media that Drake May has to find Diggs, definitely a bit more and get him more involved in this offense. So I'm going to buy into the semi-squeaky wheel and take the 4.5 overall catches. Last but not least, Chase Brown. This line is way too low. 16.5 receiving yards. This line is way too low. Chase Brown hasn't really fit the bill the first couple of weeks because, just him not getting enough check down work. But I think in this spot, 16.5, again, is way too low for Chase Brown. If he doesn't hit this line, then I'm a little worried. Then I'm a little worried for his outlook moving forward in terms of a receiving back. But this is what Chase Brown does. He takes the ball and he catches out of the backfield. Browning's going to look for options in terms of outside when he can't find Chase, when he can't find Higgins. So I do think this sets up a spot for Chase Brown to get a ton of receiving work. Bijan did this on Sunday Night Football as well. So this line is way too low for my liking. So let's bounce back. Let's get to a great spot when it comes to the prop shop upcoming this week. We'll have some Sunday Night Football as well, and obviously we'll have Monday night props as well. But yeah, that's what I got. Completely changed my Sunday morning routine just to watch you guys.
Love it, bro. Love it. No, I love it, bro.
That makes me smile.
No, I know. I'm gonna have to get on my old man game and stay up till midnight one night to catch some West Coast stuff, man. But I got you, Haywood. I got you, bro. I got you.
I hear that too. But yeah, Johnny, you know what time it is.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts for the people?
As I say every week, listen, good luck to everybody out there watching, unless you're playing against me. And if you are, then second place is good enough. If not, then,
Yeah. So you took second place last week against me.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. That's all right. Long season, baby. Long season. Last
year
at this point in time, the New Orleans Saints were 2-0. Derek Carr had 90 points. And hey, man, listen, man. To quote one of my great street philosophers, a.k.a. Nip, neighborhood Nip, baby, it's a marathon, and I'm here for it. You know what I mean? I'm here for it. Just trying to get all the Juwan Jennings out of my lineup, so don't mind me.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that, bro. Terrible. Well, we'll see you guys again live after the Sunday afternoon game. So 7:20-ish, 7:30, whatever. Don't matter about time. I'm going to be here after the Sunday afternoon games, get you guys for Sunday Night Football and some reactions when it comes to the 1 p.m. and the 4 o'clock game. So for Johnny, myself, we'll see you guys later this afternoon. Peace.